Well, hello. This is Rochelle, and welcome to my channel. So I've had some queries, and I decided to quickly do a peek into them. Every year for the past few years, I think since 2017 May, I started with Bible journaling at what was then Celindy's Scrappers. I later on in 2019 December went on to buy that little shop. Had to close it down. Well, the physical brick and mortar shop had to close it down October 2023. Long backstory. Thing is, there's a group of us who do Bible journaling together. Every year we've got some designers who design with us based on our yearly theme or our annual theme. Every month we get together for Bible journaling, but more, I've got to emphasize this, more for Bible study than art and craft. The arts and crafts is a beautiful, fun, great cherry on top, but it's definitely not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is and always will be getting into the Word. So for instance, we've used these little happy planner kind of systems for the last 2 years, where we do the kind of theme of the year. Here was Christ-like characteristics. You'll see January there. I used line paper in this one with some whatever other paper we did, etc., etc. So that was Christ-like characteristics for 2022. We decorate the little booklet, etc., etc. If you want to do it in a different, like a Dory system, with, say, for instance, traveler's notebooks, you can do it like that as well. You can do it directly in your Bible only. We did this so that I could keep notes. So you'll see there's 2022, the Christ-like characteristics. I write down the verses. In 2021, it was words of wisdom. Write down the verses in there. 2020, goodness gracious, was 12 promises. So every month we took a promise. It's got a booklet in the middle, which I think I used to write, some of the promises in there. So it's something we've been doing. In 2023, our theme was what I say versus what God says. So each month we had a look at, just want to make sure I'm in the camera here, when I say it's impossible, I did go ahead and write down who created the printable, what I say and you say or God says theme is, because I don't remember these things. Like, I just don't. So I need to. So January we looked at me saying it's impossible, God saying all things are possible. I then take the dot grid Kenzel paper, as mentioned in the previous video. I write down my verses. We do a technique. I replicate this technique or a different technique in my Bible, see how it works. The great thing about this is that you can use whatever paper you want, make sure it doesn't bleed through, etc., etc. Test a few watercolor techniques and so on. In February, we did I'm too tired. God says, I will give you rest. Again, the verses, the printable, little artsy layout. My give needs an eye, a dot on the eye. In March, we did Nobody Loves Me. And God saying, I've loved you with an everlasting love. We tested out some infusions powders with various methods of doing that. In April, we looked at us saying, I can't do this anymore. And God saying, my grace is sufficient for you. Wrote down my verses, did my artwork on 300 GSM hot pressed watercolor paper. In May, we did I'm not able, and God saying I am able. Wrote down my verses, did some gelato string art. This was a lot of fun. In June, we looked at saying I'm so worried, and God saying cast it on me because I care. Wrote down my verses, did a little bit of art inspired by an Instagram person that I follow. In July, so this is kind of just my journal. There are Bible journaling entries in my Bible, but that's I wouldn't feel right about sharing that all round. The ladies that took part in these classes paid for the content, the printables, etc. So yes. In July, we did I Feel Alone, and God saying I will never leave you nor forsake you. Wrote down my verses, did some fun art. In August, we did I've messed up so bad, God saying your past mistakes do not define you. And we did some messy play for this one. Was fortunate enough to get one of Unri's, or Unri actually presented the class in 2 of the classes for me. We do 5 classes back to back on those days, on those weekends. In September, we did I Can't Do It, and God saying you can do all things through Christ. And that, again, wrote down verses and did some fun bling things. Add all the bling to it. In October, we looked at what's happening, and God saying, trust me. Wrote down my verses, played around a bit with some fun art techniques. In November, we did I'm not smart enough, and God saying, I'll give you wisdom. Wrote down my verses, played around a bit. This was over the move. I'm so thankful for a great group of girls. In December, we looked at I'm not good enough, and God saying you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And we wrote down our verses and did some fun even scrapbook art with some seals, and just had lots and lots of fun throughout this year. You can decorate your own journal, obviously, etc., etc. Our theme for 2024 is praying through the scriptures, and I'm very excited about that and can't wait for it. If you need more information, please feel free to send me a message or an email. Okay then, bye-bye.